Right, hello everyone, welcome back to Lichtstellenspiel.de. It has been a very long time since we've been, well, it feels like it's been a long time. I don't actually know how long it's been. Pardon me. So we've taken over the helm of Scotland Shire. And as you can see, if I zoom out, and again, the usual caveat applies that I'm very sorry for the very crappy internet that I have to put up with. It does mean there is going to be a lot of delays and lagging to this video. It is not something I can help with at the moment, but hopefully you can persevere. So I'm in the process of working out some graphics so you can see one of the rapid responders making their way down south on blues, and we have a number of cases that are ongoing. So we've taken over the helm somewhat mid-shift. So we've got a gas explosion down in the countryside next to some industrial working, which is just waiting for some high volume pumps to come along, and unfortunately they're coming from quite far, so I don't actually know that these will all be finished by the end of this episode, but we will have to see. So yes, the acute asthma attack is where the rapid response vehicle is going, and you can see exactly what I mean right off the bat about the goddamn internet. So another thing at Dreghorn, which is here, so one of the little cottages has caught fire, and the crews that have turned up, so a reserve crew came in from Stirling and pumps from Sight Hill are on scene, but they're reporting that they need some assistance, so we'll see who is free. Nearest police station will be Craig Miller, so we'll get 2 police vehicles off of Craig Miller. If we go to here, so the nearest one will be Sight Hill, which I can't remember what it is actually. So it's KO6 for Sight Hill. So KO6 P1 has been selected. Who else? Liberton. Liberton is KO5, but they're fully dispatched. KO4 is not available. KO6 is... Here's KO6. Who the hell's KO6? Oh, New Craig Hall? No, it's KO4. Who's KO6? It's not Tollcross. It's not Marionville. I'm missing a station. Or I feel like I'm missing a station. I've never been this confused. Oh no, it's Sight Hill. Right, okay. Oh god. Sorry. Not a stellar start. KO7 has a pump spare, and that one is Tollcross, so we'll get that. It's actually got 2 spare, and we need 3, and that is 3. We also need a height appliance, so the nearest one is going to be K. So you're looking for A1, so I think Crew Toll is probably going to be the best one, so that's KO1 A1. So we'll mobilise that, and we're also in requirement of an officer. We don't have an officer, so we'll get OKO7, and that should be everybody. So we'll get them all mobilised. They'll be receiving their faxes. Right, let's have a look. So, Sturdberderbing. I don't actually know where this is. Schlarderderving. This one? Aha! Queen's Drive! Yes, here we go. So you're going to be cool. Oh, pardon me. If possible, you're going to be the Central Edinburgh. So yes, there is a rapid response vehicle spare from Central Edinburgh. So we'll get that notified. A nosebleed is not amazingly important. It's from Livingston, so if we go to here, so we're looking for the west of the east, so we'll send an ALS ambulance from Livingston. Slackenbrand at Whitehill Road. EH21 is down south, so it should be around here. Slackenbrand, there we go. Right, okay, so we're at New Craig Hall Station, but KO4 is fully deployed, well, other than the heavy rescue unit. So the nearest pump would actually be Juliet 02, which is also fully deployed. So we'll call on Dalkeith No, Dalkey's pump's not spare. Okay, so everything's tied up in this gas explosion, which is going to be very, very tricky to deal with. KO3 aren't home, KO1 is home. KO2, who's KO2? KO2 is McDonald Road, who actually, in retrospect, are probably going to be the best ones to deal with this. So we'll grab KO2 primary and secondary and deploy them to the scene. So the other thing you kind of sometimes see, I've only started working on those, but like the gas explosion, this has my new graphics on it, which actually provides an English translation, so hopefully it'll make these videos a little bit more enjoyable. Only 4 or 5 calls have actually been done, so the hospital transport's quite a common one. They've been done. Fall from height, person trapped at height, gas explosion and container fire have all been done. I'm afraid the rest haven't, and there are quite a lot of other ones. So now that we've started deploying units, we can see the map quite coming alive. So we've got the group manager coming down from Toll Cross, as well as Toll Cross's pump, and everybody is making their way there. Schlachtenbreham, I don't know what that is, but this is where it is. So we're gonna get police vehicles out from Thetis, which is FT, and we're looking for FT17. There we go. Okay, another Flackenbrand at Merkiston Park, which is Merkiston Park. Here we go. Okay, now we're trying to get screwed. Cruital is going to be our closest one, so we'll deploy one from there for now, and I think we'll probably do well. Well, actually, I forget about stuff to the east. So Livingston is probably going to be the other closest one, which is LO2, which is fully deployed, predictable. So, okay, this is going to be very difficult to deal with. So I think we'll call upon the retained pump from Falkirk. Probably going to be able to get there reasonably quickly. So we'll get them on the go. So Clifton Hall Road is right next to Sort. So what we might do is we might go to Sort. We might just get one of the east paramedics to arrive until we get one of Livingston's ambulances. So East West 02. We'll get those deployed. You've got an unconscious person, that's what this is, also in the same place. So again, we will go into the Sort menu and we will deploy. Oh crap. E3 NNRD, right, okay. NRRD, pardon me. So we'll get one of those, and there's nobody else there, so the nearest place will probably be Peffer Mill. So East Central ALS, there we are. Okay. Oh, we've got a head wound in Ritchie Park. I'm not amazingly sure where this is. Ritchie Park. It doesn't give me a postcode. Has anyone seen the launch codes? Ritchie Park. Aha! Okay, so this one is actually in Glasgow along with this. So what we'll do is we'll take the Kopfplatz wound and we'll go to here. So we need one of the West doctors and an ambulance from Paisley, which is going to be West Paisley, which is what WP stands for. So we'll get that on the go. Okay, so we've got that one deployed, and I don't think we have another doctor, so it's a cam from Fall, which I don't really know what it is. Okay, perfect. Let us go to... So yes, I am quite correct in saying that there is no other doctor over this end of the woods. So I guess we'll get another Paisley ambulance and just kind of hope to the giddy goose that we don't need something. Ah, crap. So we've got a fallen machine, which is this one, which is at South Queensferry, which is going to be annoying because there must have been some equipment has fallen off the bridge, which is going to be quite difficult. So what are we looking for here? We're going to be looking for an officer. We're going to be looking for multiple police cars. It's hard picking and choosing which of the kind of things we're going to use. We'll use this as a status board just now. We'll grab a couple of pumps and we'll grab a height appliance, seeing as they're all ready for just now. And I think that's the last call that's come through, which is good. So we'll just see when it comes back. If it comes back, because again, crappy ass internet. No, hitch lag. Now I actually don't know what hitch lag is. Translate the text. Heat stroke. Okay, so that's North Everton Park. That's an ALS job, but it is in Glasgow, so it might take a little while for things to just get there. And I think that's all the calls that have come in at the moment. Oh no, we missed one. Scorch Brand in Edinburgh. Now, what's a scorch? Scorched and Brand. It's a chimney fire. Probably get an ALP over to that as well, but it's probably going to have to come from some distance. And so all 15 calls have been answered, which is fine. But we've also got, we can see the police deploying out Thetis. We've got several calls that require responding to. So these are non-emergency calls for hospital transport appointments, so we will just appoint the various agencies to those. So there are a number of people that do our hospital transports. There is the patient transport service, which is the part of the Scottish Ambulance Service branch, and there's also the British Red Cross that do some hospital transport, so we'll hopefully get to see some of them floating around. So yeah, there's loads of emergency services, so you can kind of tell them by the banner on it. So this is so the maroon is obviously the fire service, green is ambulance service, blue is police. If we go to the south, you've got bright red, which is the British Red Cross. If you head up north, you've got if we go up to here, you've got Coast Guard, which is black and gold, but they've also got the lifeboats, which is orange and black. And I think the only other one, SORT is quite special. It's supposed to be white on green, but actually it turns into quite a deep grey colour. I'm not too sure why, but at least it's distinctive, which is kind of the point. There is the military, which is kind of, it was supposed to be olive drab, but it didn't quite work once I loaded it in game. But I just kind of left it as that kind of browny colour. And finally, there is the Charity Air Ambulance up in Perth, which has got this yellow and green shambles going on. Perfect. So let's just check in on everybody. So our Queen's Drive person is ready to go to hospital. Now, because of the gas explosion, all of our hospitals are very, very drained. And in fact, this person needs to go to somewhere with neurology, but we don't have a neurology department yet. So it might do for the moment. We'll send them to the infirmary. So that's our last space in the infirmary gone, which is quite unfortunate. Right, so our ambulances for the two incidents that happen at Newbridge, one of them is about to arrive, the other one will be quite a wee bit away, sadly. But everyone else is still waiting on something. A new fire has broken out on a Palmer's Bood, which I don't know what it is, so let's just find out. No, it's German. Don't auto-detect if you can't detect. Perfect. Okay, so it's a grease fire, basically. One grease lightning will not be going to. So what have we got spare? There's nothing really floating around in Edinburgh, so we'll just let it auto decide. I should add, if anything suddenly appears and it's got one of the old logos for the fire service, or if it doesn't appear in this, it's probably because it's from Glasgow. So the Glasgow fire service, I don't actually have access to the information that is there, like call signs and things. I do have for like 3 years out of date data, but I've decided not to use it just for the moment. And actually it's Hoyt that's getting deployed to it, so this is a long time away. Ooh, okay, so The camp fall requires a doctor. Now, I thought we sent a doctor to that. Was it the other one? Oh no, there's 3? Oh, yeah, it was the cough patch ones that we sent, so there's 3. Oh, okay, perfect. Let's see, the nosebleed. Apparently the paramedics have decided that our nosebleed needs to go to hospital. We can see St. John's there already, so that's probably where he'll be going. But it doesn't have space! So we'll send him to Leicester. Well, sorry, it does have space, it just doesn't have the skill set, which is BS, but you need time and money to be able to expand it. So the Flakenbrand and Whitehill Road is perhaps proving quite troublesome. So we require 2 more police officers and 2 more pumps. I'm just wondering if the no. Oh no, hang on. So the military fire service is available. That's probably going to be the closest pump at this point. So we'll grab one of them, and this is the other Flakenbrand, which requires 1 more pump and 2 more police officers. Okay, Jesus, this is all kicking off something awful, isn't it? So this is a car crash, I do indeed believe. So if we just check it with a translation, haha, helpful in every possible way. Down vehicle car crash, sure. I think it's overturned vehicle is supposed to be the official translation, maybe? I don't know. So we'll send the police out to that. They'll deal with that situation. Oh, and we have a special transport that's required out of Hawick. So let's just check the distribution board. How many police vehicles have we got free? We've got 3 from Hawick, which is fine. We ideally need 1 from Dalkeith, because it starts in 2 hours. So yeah, that's fine. So we'll deploy a lot of our police units down to Hawick for this special transport. Okay, great. So police are responding. So we can see the British Red Cross vehicles away doing their thing. So we've got the British Transport Police. So because there are certain vehicles that are not equipped with blue lights. So we see when we see like the police vehicle, where it kind of flashes between black and blue, that is because obviously it's a police vehicle that's blue light fitted. Now, the British Red Cross can respond to some emergency situations, but they don't have blue light, so they will never ever flash. If we look at Preston, oh no, it's on scene. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, so the BLS vehicles from the ambulance service, they do have blue lights, but they wouldn't use them on the way to a regular transport. There is another one which I thought was pretty cool. Let me just pick something at random. Let's pick the Flakenbrand actually, just for the sake of showing you this. If it's going to open, yes, there we go. So if we go to Retting, and if we find a doctor. So I quite enjoyed making this. So while that's, how long does it take the doctor? The doctor's only 30 seconds, so it won't be too bad. So in the meantime, we will just get the ball on this rolling. So you're going to have to go to the Western. And then there's another one, which is going to have to go to Glasgow. Come on, sunshine, go to Glasgow. Perfect, right, okay. So they 2 got dealt with, and that's fine and dandy. There's a fire in a straw bale, which will need to get dealt with momentarily, and there's a new crank and transport. So yes, doctors, as is quite a common talking point every now and again, doctors don't have blue lights on their vehicle. They have flashing green lights, which I have reflected in the game. So we can see the doctor has got flashing green instead of the ambulances which flash blue. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, so we can tell when they're responding, and they have green lights to reflect the fact that they are doctors. And I mean, we just kind of used that one as an example. It wasn't actually needed. So let's deal with this. So in Motherwell, okay, there's a straws obviously caught fire. So if we catch a pump, so Bells Hills pump is going to go, which is fine. And then we also have 1 more crank and transport to happen from the hospital, but there's not an there's not a BLS ambulance free, so we'll have to call upon an ALS ambulance, which we'll just get from Peppermill, seeing as we're not actually short for space for the moment. And everything is Punky Brewster. So everything's going. Our burning house is going to get finished up soon. Aha! So this is Falkirk's high volume pump, which is just turning up to the gas explosion. Don't know where the group manager's away to. So where is? Oh god! So this is the other high volume pump that's coming. As you can see, it's quite a considerable bit of time away. So 18 minutes. So we definitely. Oh, if I forget to end the episode like I normally do, it might arrive. So yeah, you can see the different kind of status of things. So there are no new calls at the moment, but you'll have seen how it's got the red on it to indicate that your attention is needed. Aha! Something has just finished. So we've got a whole bunch of Edinburgh's pump backs. That's the burning house. Now, was there a high volume pump there? P1, A1. No, there wasn't. Damn. Yes. So that the bottom then turns to yellow to indicate it's en route. And then finally, once it arrives, it'll have the... Now, I'm just trying to see if there's one in such a position, but there isn't. Of course it's not. Yeah, so it basically turns green. We saw it briefly earlier. It turns green to basically say that no further units are required, which is pretty cool. So basically the graphics are, one, an aid to make sure that nothing is getting mistranslated, and also an aid to just kind of give you a clear picture of what's going on. I say, hey, what's going on? So we've got another hospital transport at Little France, and there's no BLS vehicles available, so we'll just head to here. So Little France Crescent. Yeah, right. Okay, so it is there. So we'll need to get another ALS ambulance to come do the hospital transport. Again, we're not pushed for ALS vehicles at this time, which I guess is okay. Now, I'm not actually sure what this is. So there's something kicking off in Livingston. Translate selected text. Domestic violence. Oh dear. Well, we'll get Livingston police out. So the poor guys that were just about back at base have now been notified of the emergency just around the corner. So they have put their blue lights back on and are now racing to the scene while their colleagues scramble to their cars. And then as the station gates open up, they will hopefully be in a position to start their journey to the emergency. Yep, there we go, that's them gone. So they've now departed Livingston Police Station and are on the way to the scene of this domestic violence incident. Okay, fine. One of the vehicles is asking to take... Actually, hang on, before I do this. So we can see if we go to... Oh, crud, are they all at Little France? Yes, they are. Okay, I don't think I can show you. Nope. Okay, never mind. Right. So you need to go to hospital. It's a person with acute asthma attack. So responding from Gauchia. So you're gonna have to go to the Borders General Hospital, which actually surprisingly has quite a lot of space. And so they are dispatched. So it's a reasonably busy shift. I think, well, it's actually okay. We're only doing one call every 3 minutes, but everything is just kept at quite a bit tense by the fact that we are really under pressure from this gas explosion, which all we're doing now is waiting on that one unit to arrive from Glasgow Ways, which is there. And that's what I mean by if it doesn't have a graphic, it's from Glasgow. It's still got the old icons. Okay. So you can see it. This is all the pumps. So OK07 is an officer from Tollcross. P1 is a pump, P2 is a secondary pump, P3 is a third pump, And trying to see what else there is. A1 is a height appliance, and M1 is a pump. Now then, so have you got a doctor on the way to you? Yes, okay, so apparently the air ambulance actually got scrambled for this one, which is a little bit bloom. You guys are aware you're going. Yeah, okay, fine. Right, so you can see how fast they're going out there on the motorway. And it looks like this has turned into a little bit of a disaster. So let's see what this... in fact, no, let's use the other screen for a second. Okay, also there's no ambulances coming. Well, there's supposed to be. So let's call it an ambulance. So there's one pump and one manager coming. So we need 2 more pumps. So we'll see if K20. No, K20 is not free. So we'll just get the nearest available pump. 2 of them. And the nearest available police, which will be from Fetis. Actually, it might be Livingston at this distance. So 1 police, 2 fire, plus the fire already on the way. We need a heavy crane, which we'll sort in a minute. We need 2 rust wagons, 1 environmental protection wagon, and 1 officer. So the officer is on the way. That is fine. I don't have the pod set up correctly, so it's going to have to be 1 pod from whoever. I can't actually remember who has environmental protection pods. I know Crew Tow has one, so it'll possibly be Crew Tow. And we're also in the need of 2 urban search and rescue vehicles, who I'm not actually too sure where they're coming from. And actually, the heavy crane, oh yeah, and an ambulance. The heavy crane is not available because it is at the gas explosion, so that's going to complicate matters somewhat. Okay, new ambulance has a speaking wish, so they want to take the person to St. John's Hospital, which is entirely fine by me. So they're going to deploy and do that. Oh my giddy goose! We've got an emergency. We've got a proper emergency. So a bus has fallen off the water and deployed. So I was thinking, because it's going to be getting close to the time that we're not going to see we're not going to see the water rescue units in action, but yay we are, because we've got a total of 15 casualties, which is kind of insane. So we're going to have to, I mean, East Sort is actually quite busy. That's going to be quite a problem. So we'll mobilise Sort, and we'll mobilise 1 air ambulance. So that'll take us up to 4 transport. So we need 1 and then 10 more. So we're going to 21. And we do still have enough ambulances, which is fine, but we'll see this board drain very, very quickly. We're also going to need several doctors, so we'll see. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll grab some doctors from the hospital. We've got the air ambulance coming, which will be 1 of them. We will deploy Medic 1. What the hell is NNT? I've got no idea what NNT is supposed to be. This is Mobile Command Unit, which we are definitely going to need. This is Medic 1. Oh no, I know what it is. It's Neonatal Transport Unit. God. Okay, right. So Medic 1, Mobile Command, they all need to be on the way. We'll get police to come and help with the scene, so we'll get 4 of them specifically. We're also going to grab a couple of pumps and an officer. This is probably going to be the kind of incident that we need to deploy the command unit. So the nearest command unit is going to be Liberton, which actually looks like it might be deployed. Damn, that's a problem. What about Bowness? Is Bowness deployed as well? We've got 1 spare. It must be the one from Glasgow ways. Anyway, so we're going to have to deploy that. And of course water rescue. So what we'll do is we'll mobilise Coast Guard Fisher Row, Coast Guard Queen's Ferry, and the RNLE. And so unfortunately the dependence on boats in this game is actually quite high and quite stupid. So we'll get the remaining water rescue service. So with 43 units on the card, we'll get them deployed immediately. Woohoo! So Helimed 5 is coming from Inverness. Good God, I don't know why it's haven't come that far. But yeah, so we've got water rescue. Oh, and a nosebleed. So we've got one nosebleed. We'll just send the nearest unit. It's going to be Linlithgow's and the Dashiell brand. I don't actually know what the hell that is, but Falkirk's nearby, so Stirling's pump will be able to deal with that. And we have a speaking wish. So you want to go to Glasgow Royal Infirmary again, that's fine by me. Perfect. So we've got 15 casualties and only, less than, 12 spaces in hospital, so you can see how well this is going to go. So we've now got, we might actually be able to see this. Yes, so you can see how it's turned green to say everyone that's needed is on scene. There's Medic 1 just departing, heading towards the scene of the bus in the water. So that's going to go. Alright, so we'll get BLS vehicles, seeing as we do have them spare. And our doctors are following very quickly thereafter. Okay, so 15 casualties is quite serious. That's a fairly substantial amount of people that haven't been able to get out. So the 3 doctors, Mobile Command and Medic 1 have all deployed out to the scene. And we've got another hospital transport to go. And there's no more BLSs, so we'll just get the nearest ALS. Seeing as we're generally okay. So this is the second major incident we've had while we've been on duty, which is a problem. And we've still got another 6 minutes to go before Clydesmill's unit arrives. No. Okay, so we can see Scottish Charity Air ambulances flying around the place. And Inverness, which is quite far away. Inverness air ambulance is going to start making its way to the scene quite shortly. Now, units reported that this fire has been upgraded somewhat. So we've got 2 pumps on the way, and actually we need 1 more. I don't know where it's coming from. It's probably going to be mostly Glasgow at this rate because of the lack of pumps on the east coast. Yeah, and you can see the volume of units that are just moving around every which way to the point that it's starting to chug the frame rates, which is kind of not great. So it's only going to be a couple of minutes now actually until the 5 minutes, really? It's going to be that long? So yeah, it's not going to be all that long until the gas explosion is dealt with. Meanwhile, heavy was that heavy? H? No, H is the incident support unit. What are they doing there? Who's on scene? Okay, so yeah, right, fine. So it's the incident response unit from Marionville has arrived on the scene. I'm not actually amazingly sure why it got there first. So everyone is coming along. So these are the ambulances which have been deployed from Peffer Mill. They're coming along with the bread cross. And the Red Cross, who are going to a hospital transfer, or they should be going to a hospital transfer. What are they going to? American Transport Wagon. You're being deployed to... What? Okay, it doesn't actually tell me where they're going. But yes, so they're about to arrive on scene. So we'll be able to start getting the casualties out of the water. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Right, you start off. Woohoo! So we've got Tollcross have just arrived at Arthur's Seat, which is a very famous landmark here in Edinburgh. So the more crews that arrive, the more people that can start getting treated. So the rapid response vehicles are quickly reporting that they are now on scene. And so we've got fire and more ambulances coming along. And okay, so the British Red Cross dude has gone indeed the other way. So doctors and more medical staff are coming. And then it's going to be slightly further afield for everything else. So we're still waiting on this unit to get down to the scene. So it's only going to be a couple of minutes left until that vehicle arrives. This is... who's this? Pump. Yes, okay. So one of the pumps from Motherwell is having to come out to back our asses up because we don't have enough resources. Meanwhile, how is the fallen machine getting on? Oh yes, so we can now see the Coast Guard deploying in force. So we've got Coast Guard and the RNLI. Now this is a limitation of the game. So the RNLI would normally deploy their lifeboats out into the sea, but because there isn't like a fixed lifeboat, there is only a trailer lifeboat. That's kind of how I've had to model it in the game. I would have just left it out, but actually for some reason Liechtenstein has a very, very high dependence on boats. So whereas in Scotland we tend to have line rescues, which is where you would throw a line out, they'll grab on and you drag them in, and everything requires a boat. So I've kind of had to push the boundaries in order to be able to make the game work. Who's EL? EL is in Lithgow. So they're just about to arrive on the scene along with KO6, which is Sight Hill, I think. So they're just about to arrive at the fallen machine. And then if we check further off to the south, specifically around where's SAR? They should have all deployed. Well, they're on station. Oh yes, here they are. Right, okay. So this is the SART crews who, if you were standing at Edinburgh Zoo at the moment, this would be your absolute spotter's dream, is to have an entire column of SART vehicles go past. I've only ever seen SART in action twice, but you can't rest while things are going on, because meanwhile we've got fire in a supermarket. Where are we? In Dalry. So we'll get the closest available pump to that and maybe the police to help with evacuations. And we'll just take advice. I'm just checking to see who's where. Actually, I might just get Livingston on that, as well as the closest other pump. So that's that one sorted. Get your person. I can't remember if this is unconscious or unwell. It's a turned person, a fallen person perhaps. Nevertheless, we'll just get an ambulance out to them, whichever one is closestly available. Aha, okay, so the Dachau brand at... what the hell is this? Oh, this is Livingston, right, okay. So at the industrial estate there is currently a bit of a crisis that requires the use of 2 pumps, which we're going to have to summon from Glasgow, and 1 height appliance, which we will get from Crew Toll, to come and put out this fire. So I'm curious, what is the Dachau brand? Oh, that's helpful! Totally helpful! Right, okay, so we'll shut that down. One of the vehicles has a wish to be extracted. So the one from Linlithgow is going to head to the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh, which is fine, and we'll see if there's a couple of vehicles free to do... yes, okay, so there's some BLS vehicles that are free to do some hospital transfers, which is fine and dandy, so that's done. And we're still waiting on things to arrive. So the Inverness Air Ambulance has scrambled, which is what this big line is that you are seeing. And actually there's no more units that are even remotely close. So this is Preston Pan's ambulance station coming. This is Newton Grange ambulance. All these three. That's Musselburgh Coast Guard on the approach. On that side. On this side, there is nothing for quite a considerable distance. Okay, great. So the brand in the supermarket. Okay, so there's no fires, there's no heights, there's no officer, so there's nothing actually available to assist us. We do need a rust wagon, which is a heavy rescue unit, and we do have one of those spare, although I'm not too sure where it's coming from. Let's find out. So, brand supermarket. So, Cumbernauld. So, Cumbernauld are sending their major incident unit out to the scene. And one of the vehicles has a Chalk and a Wish. Right, so let's find out where it's going. Royal Edinburgh's closest, but Western General actually has space to accept the dude, which is kind of important at this point. So what else have we got? Container branch, right, okay. Jesus Christ. There's no pump spare, so we'll just get the police to come sit on that one just now to stop the flames from the flames from affecting too many of the bystanders. So the police will keep them happy and away and such. So what's arrived? Okay, great. So the mass casualty unit has arrived and has started assessing all of the patients. We'll actually just keep them on scene at the moment, because otherwise we're going to be bouncing people backwards and forwards. So SORT will arrive on scene shortly. I believe they are coming in on Edinburgh. Yeah, okay. So they're coming through. They're coming through the toll cross kind of area, which is slightly different. So the one time I actually saw SORT being deployed, they were actually driving on this road, not this one. So yeah, that's almost one street away from being fully realistic. So they will come and take charge of the scene in due course. Meanwhile, I don't know. Well, that's what those two ambulances are. Meanwhile, we've got a new hospital transport that's come in, so we should be in a position to deploy another one of the patient transport service vehicles from Newton Grange. How's that gas explosion getting on? Surely it must be about finished now. Yeah, it's still got 110 seconds to go. So basically, we're now the response is starting to get more and more intense. So the emergency services are starting to descend on Arthur's Seat. Ambulance, Coast Guard, SORT, and RNLI are about to land at this submerged bus. Perfect. Actually, I'm saying bravely that the SORT guys will take charge of it. They can actually only take charge if there's a hospital bed free within 200 kilometers, which might actually be a smidgen of an issue. Okay. So this is now just a case of waiting for all the various resources to arrive. So SORT have now gone down the Royal Mile. No. They've gone near to the Royal Mile. But they're about to arrive at the... hang on a minute. What the hell street's this? What? I'm confused about what this is. Oh, no, I'm thinking of a completely different street. Right, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Right. So there's a new... That's a Flacken brand. Okay. So Bonus, I don't imagine Bonus are going to be available. Nope. So again, we're just going to have to get the police to come along and sit on this. In fact, I'll tell you what I might do. In fact, who's that? It's just going back to Bonus. Yes! Okay, it finished. It finished! So we finally got pumps free. Perfect. So Flackenbrand, so we'll probably get LO1P1, and there's only one pump in Bonus. Yes, there's only one pump in Bonus and the command unit, which I guess that's not going to be needed. So we'll grab the other one, LO2. So they'll come along and get sorted. And I can just see that SAR are on scene. The reason you can tell SAR are on scene is if we head back over here. There is a mass exodus of vehicles that have been sent away now that the casualties are in a position to be moved, which is pretty cool. So this big conga line of people are going off to the hospital. The only thing I'm worried about is what hospital they're going to, because we know for a fact there's not many spaces left in central Scotland, and I didn't think they would be all the way down south, but I mean it remains a perfectly possible possibility. Okay, perfect. So now that our road network's starting to look a little bit like spaghetti because of all the vehicles that are going all over the place, I suppose we'll probably deal with this as well. So we had two that we couldn't send full units to. So we've got two fire and so the Dashot's brand is fine, but the Brandon supermarket is not. So we've got the urban search and rescue coming. We do need an officer, a fire, a height. Officer, fire, height, yeah, that's it. So we'll get them to arrive. And are we still waiting on 2 ambulances coming here? Oh well, we're waiting for one from Gal Shields. So I might just scramble another couple of ambulances just to get that scene sorted and out of the way. But I think it's not going to be something that we'll do on camera, because it is literally just a... oh yeah, right, okay. So we were also waiting for this, which is the heavy crane. So we'll get that deployed to the scene, which will probably take a little while to arrive, and we'll get the Scottish Charity Air Ambulance back to base. Back to hospital. So yeah, St John's is closed, Western General is closed, Royal Infirmary is closed, Glasgow Royal Infirmary is open, and as is the border. So a lot of these vehicles are going down south. So this is going to become quite hard to manage, but this is probably an ideal time to call this the end of this episode, the second ever episode of Lifestyleandspiel.ee. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!